film enthusiasts and relaxation seekers. My name is Cinephile ASMR, and today we are not talking about a specific movie. No. We are talking instead about an entire year of film, more specifically the year of 2024, and my most anticipated movies for this year, as we are about 2 months in, about to be 3. I have seen a couple films, but more importantly, the films that I have been so desperate to watch, my anticipation has been escalating, are very, very far out, and I'm so excited to talk about them. This is going to be kind of something I hope to do every year. This is the first time I've done it, and I've tried to think about how can I make it in a way that is going to introduce you to movies that you have not heard of, and I'm going to break this kind of into 2 parts. The first part is going to be more the films, the smaller ones that have premiered at the more independent film festivals like Sundance or South by Southwest, and then I'm going to ease into more of the bigger films that I think you're going to hear about as the year progresses. So I think what better way to start off than to start in the beginning, and the thing that I'm really, really excited about is those smaller films as well, starting off with a film called Handling the Undead. This was a film that just premiered at the festival, and I don't really know much about it, and you're going to kind of hear that throughout the course of this video as I try to, maintain that level of distance from movies, and this film is no exception. It is supposed to be this unique, smaller scale, intimate story in a post-apocalyptic world, but the thing that really has me intrigued outside of that concept is the lead is the same actor from The Worst Person in the World, a film that came out in 2021, with her performance being absolutely spellbinding, and this movie sounds very interesting. Another movie that I'm just so desperately excited for. I've seen the trailer multiple times. It has had me locked in from like day one. Love Lies Bleeding, the second film from Rose Glass. She made a film a few years ago, like in 2018, called Saint Maud, I believe, and it really is this trailer that is offering this very neon-soaked 80s throwback that has so much vibrancy and style, and it looks like a tale of forbidden love with Katie O'Brien, an actor I have not seen before, and Kristen Stewart. It looks incredible, it looks exhilarating, it looks just so intense in love and atmosphere. I'm locked in from the trailer and I cannot wait. Another film festival movie that I am really excited about is Pony Boy, and originally I had just heard about this movie because of Dylan O'Brien's involvement, who I will go on record as saying he is one of the most underutilized talents in the industry. He is the white boy of the month, the flavor of the week for me. Him and Logan Lerman have a white boy off, and I think they're amazing. But honestly, outside of that, the concept of this movie about a trans woman who goes to a drug deal that goes wrong and becomes on the run, and Dylan O'Brien is involved, I think that's like loosely what I've heard. It sounds great. I've heard really good things, and you can't go wrong with another Dylan O'Brien movie. Continuing along those same lines, I might actually, I'm not ranking these based off of anticipation. This is more kind of just finding all these movies and talking about them, but I might give a tell away by saying the next one up is low-key in my top 3 of the most anticipated of the year, with I Saw the TV Glow, a sophomore film debut from Jane Schoenbaum. This is a trans filmmaker who burst onto the screen for me in 2022 with a film that has actually shot up to being one of my all-time favorites with We're All Going to the World's Fair. This woman is so able to blend her feelings and emotions about being trans, about freedom of being who you are and expression in an art form, while also talking about the digital age, the things that we kind of fall victim towards in a world that is all digitized. And I think that marriage, from what I've heard about this, where it takes that more analog look, that lower budget, with a cast, a score by Alex G, I've heard nothing but amazing things from it, and it excites me beyond no end. And there is this reoccurring thing where the concepts of these movies, the log line, the first couple of sentences into the idea behind the movie just locks you in, and that could not be ever more present than, no pun intended, than in Steven Soderbergh's new film titled Presence. This film is 80 minutes, and it follows a new homeowner family who just moves into this house, but this house also carries with it a ghost with. And what honestly shocks me the most about this is, from what I've heard, it follows from the entire perspective of the ghost. And there's something about that I just like, I'm so intoxicated conceptually about, and I cannot wait to watch what that movie has in store. Did you know that Jesse Eisenberg directs movies? I figured that out like a little while ago, but I didn't know that he had the chops to act, star, write, and direct a movie. And that to me is the thing that blew my mind when I realized A Real Pain is about two, I think it's like cousins or brothers that are dealing with a hardship that they have to come together to go confront. And it stars Jesse Eisenberg and Kieran Culkin, one of the greatest actors, one of the best shows from Succession. That just sounds so intimate, so sweet, and it's actors that I deeply have a fond appreciation for coming together, and I can't wait to watch it. Now this next one fascinates me. It fascinates me because the teasers that I have watched are so unique, so individual, and I have not seen anything like it. With Long Legs, a film with Nicolas Cage, Mike Monroe, it's supposed to be like this descent rabbit hole into madness, following a detective uncovering this clue and mystery, and it gets worse and worse. But if you haven't seen any of the teasers for this, I cannot stress just how much you need to get onto that, because they're so vague, so mysterious and eerie, and I think it's exactly what teasers need to be, and I cannot wait for this. It looks unbelievable. Steering more into lighthearted territory, a documentary actually that I've been like locked in since I heard about its idea, titled Will and Harper. It's a documentary following Will Ferrell as he navigates finding his best friend, who then becomes trans, and navigating their dynamic with that involved. And I think it was this interview that I saw a couple weeks ago of the both of them. And Will, I didn't know he was an ally like that, but shout out. He basically talked about the moment that he found out that his best friend had become trans, and she opened herself up to him. He felt such a need to kind of find a way to bring that to light, to kind of document that journey, and it sounds beautiful. It sounds absolutely beautiful, and I think that level of vulnerability and transparency needs to happen more to push that conversation, and I'm very excited for that. Now, forgive my French for this. It's the title. It's the working title right now. Pussy Island is the debut directorial effort behind Zoe Kravitz. I know nothing about this, nothing at all, outside that she wrote and directs this debut that stars Channing Tatum. And I know they were together during the making of this. So the title, the director, the debut, and Channing Tatum, another actor that I always see being so down for the cause to do just about anything, from a bite-sized role to being Magic Mike, and in a movie now called Pussy Island. I'm there day one. This is most definitely, though, where we start leaning more and more into bigger films, more renowned films, or films that are going to be looked out for and sought a bit more. And this is Hitman, a film directed by Richard Linklater and starring Glenn Powell in a script that he co-wrote. I have heard nothing but great things about this movie, to the point where people were in uproar for a long time over the fact that it was going to go straight to streaming. People wanted it to be theatrical, and I think just conceptually hearing the amount of anticipation about a film about a hitman, it's supposed to be sexy, fun, romantic. I'm there. On that same vein of sexy, fun, but also terrifying, Maxine, a third film in a trilogy that a year and a half ago I didn't even know existed. And, I am there. I hear Halsey is in the movie. Ty West is a horror filmmaker that will have my butt in a seat the moment I know his name is attached. And I really did love X and Pearl. I think I liked X a bit more, but to know that we're getting a trilogy for films that 3 years ago weren't even being made is mind-blowing, and it takes place in the 80s. Dude, sign me the hell up. Now, this next one is weird because I actually vividly, almost a year ago exactly, distinctly remember seeing the trailer for this film playing in a movie theater that I was at called Problemista, an A24 film about a boy trying to find his identity, and like the visual language of this film looks so different and unique, and I think it was like directed, starring, and written by the same person with Tilda Swinton included. Dude, I don't know why it got pushed back because of the writer's strike, I would assume, but I saw that trailer, I was locked in, I was immersed, and I've been ever since, to the point where I had to look up the fact, is this movie still coming out? But it looks terrific. A24, you cannot go wrong. This next one may actually be, by the time I upload this video, the film that is coming out the soonest. Drive Away Dolls, directed by not both, but one of the Coen brothers, starring an all-star cast. Margaret Qualley. I hear it's very gay, very lesbian, and it's like, dude, the thought of like the Coen brothers disbanding to do their own thing, and this feels so different from what they've ever done. I am down for that. It's under like 85 minutes. I don't know, there's just something that seems so genuine and heartfelt and authentic about it. So I'm there, baby, I'm there. Another one that I need more people to be locked in for is Steve McQueen's newest film, Blitz. I don't know anything about it. I've heard that Harris Dickinson is in it, but really I am showing up for the director's name alone. Steve McQueen is one of the best filmmakers, visionaries to be doing it at all. He leapt onto the screen and got popularity by 12 Years a Slave, but I genuinely think like a movie he did in 2008 called Shame, one of the greatest films ever made. He did a group of movies called the Small Axe Collection, which kind of dissect the inner workings of racism in London during the 60s, I believe. Those were just terrific, eye-opening stuff, and this looks to be no exception. I will be there day one. I cannot wait for that trailer. Starting to definitely go big now, we have one of the biggest auteur filmmakers who has not done a movie in a decade and a half, maybe 20 years, with Francis Ford Coppola. The man is back self-funding a movie that I've heard gone through production hell, but he has gotten an all-star cast. This film had ran out of money. It was in production nightmare fuel, but dude, you have Francis Ford Coppola attached. The man is like in his 80s. I am absolutely there. No matter what, I will be. Having sat there watching that film, good or bad, I will be there. Now, another film that I've really been keeping an eye out for, and the teaser came out and then the trailer came out, and it was nothing like I could have expected. The new Adam Sandler film Spaceman, about this astronaut in space for years, and then he starts to hallucinate a spider that talks to him, voiced by Paul Dano, and it's directed by the guy who did Chernobyl. Dude, it's like if you took Pandora's box of all these different creatives and put them into a movie. It shouldn't work, but I think it's going to actually be amazing, and I cannot wait. Outside of being one of the most beautiful women in the industry, Hunter Schafer is finally getting her feature debut as the lead in a film called Kuko. This movie was like a single image that you're seeing right now, and nothing else, just Hunter Schafer in this image, but people have seen it now, and they're saying it's like Dario Argento, the man who did Suspiria, kind of weird and sadistic, and I cannot wait. I am so excited. Now, another film akin to Problemista's predicament, Challengers, a movie that was supposed to come out last year about two guys who play tennis that fall in love and simp over Zendaya, and she's the dominatrix that bends to her whim, and it's directed by Luca Guadagnino. It got pushed back. It's written by the husband of the wife who made Past Lives. What the hell? This movie looks incredible. It looks like it's going to talk about deception, manipulation, a marriage built off of lies, sex. I'm there. It looks sexy, it looks erotic, but it looks exhilarating, and Luca Guadagnino does not disappoint. I won't lie to you though, there is a movie gonna say I'm anticipating for the purest of intentions. There are just some movies that look like train wrecks. They don't really gravitate towards you, but there's something about it that feels like this movie can crash and burn and be abysmal, but you have to be there day one. And Alex Garland's Civil War is one of the weirdest films that A24 has distributed and funded. It's the most expensive film they've done. It looks like it's hiding something underneath itself, and he is a filmmaker that has had roots in horror, and if it plays itself straight as a military film about just warring nations coming together and fighting each other, well, okay, so be it. But there's something intriguing about that concept, about these war photographers being thrusted into the middle of it. There is all of these actors. It's shot by one of my favorite DPs, but the trailers do not do it for me at all. So I am just going to be there day one. Maybe it'll be like, at the weirdest extent, a Cloverfield connection, or it just plays it straight. So I don't know. Now again, I try not to reveal my tells, and these are not in any particular order, but the next two, which have to go as a combo for me, would most definitely probably land in my top 5 most anticipated. Because on the one hand, we have a new M. Night Shyamalan film coming out this year, hopefully, and we also have his daughter, Ishana Knight, directing her debut that is supposed to come out this year as well. And there is something so poetic about a filmmaker letting his daughter do her own thing, and just that working of each other, doing their separate ways, as they are probably going to deliver two vastly different experiences. And M. Night Shyamalan's one of my favorite filmmakers. I will be there no matter what. And his daughter, I don't know, and that's the thing that fascinates me. I cannot wait. This movie, the more I think about it, may be my most anticipated. I do not know. I think it is, just conceptually speaking, what I am so excited about, and we do not get enough of them. The new Alien film directed by Fede Alvarez, the man who did Don't Breathe. I think I just love space-centric horror films, and the Alien franchise has been lacking as of late, and I'm excited to see what is going to unfold. I've heard it is gnarly, I've heard it's insane, and I just cannot wait. I just got goosebumps thinking about it. 2 more films that could potentially again be crash and burn scenarios. The Borderlands film directed by Eli Roth and Aggro Drift, the Harmony Korine film that is shot on like infrared, starring Travis Scott. These films, again, conceptually speaking, what? You know, like, I think of Borderlands, I do not think of Eli Roth, the director of Knock Knock, Hostel, all of these gory horror films, and the cast looks crazy. And then I think of like Aggro Drift, a film that is shot on infrared with the Travis Scott soundtrack. Both films that could crash and burn and be train wrecks, but I will be there, passenger seat, front row, watching if it actually soars or it balls. So we'll see. And you know, as we slowly but surely start wrapping things up, I really have to say, a movie that I did not expect to ever even have any anticipation for, the second Joker film with Lady Gaga. It's supposed to be a musical or have musical elements in it. This is coming from someone who believes the first Joker is a self-indulgent mess, a beautiful looking mess, but it feels like it's so much smarter than it actually is. It thinks of itself a lot higher, and it does not have that lasting staying power. But this one, I will show up for. It sounds crazy. I don't know about you, but I did not expect them to go in a musical-esque element. We shall see. And honest to God, I do not see enough love for the upcoming film Abigail, a movie about a bunch of mercenaries, hired contracted killers that are tasked with kidnapping this rich father's daughter in order to hold her for ransom. But then what quickly is realized is that she is a vampire and they are locked in with her. Conceptually, it just sounds like the epitome of what horror movies as a genre should be. Campy at times, they could be serious at times, intense, dark, realistic, fictitious, campy, cheesy. This feels just so unique in its idea. It looks like it's leaning fully into that absurdity, but not enough people are talking about it, and we need to change that. Another horror movie, Terrifier 3, set during Christmas. Are you kidding me? I just think as a collective need to start asking and requesting casting for more seasonal-based horror films. Trick or Treat, Krampus. We need horror films that are set during the holiday season because they're the best. They have so much more of a rewatchability and staying power. I love Terrifier 2. That was my jam through and through. This looks to be bonkers, and I cannot wait. And again, I'm gonna pair two films because I did not have any anticipation for them, but the more I hear about them, the more I realize that the directors behind them really do have the sauce. They're sequels slash remakes slash reboots, but I am there. The new Planet of the Apes film and the Twisters film, I am shocked. Based off of the teasers, based off of like the star power, I could not have guessed that these would have been shot up to being one of my most anticipated of the year, but I am going to call this right now, and I think this is what I'm most excited about making this video, is I am like making predictions, anticipations for movies that may exceed that, but also may plummet that. But mark my words, in this video, you can come back once these movies come out. I genuinely think those two movies are going to be great. They're going to be the epitome of summer blockbuster fun, and I am just so excited to get fresh new voices into these franchises. They look like a blast. Also, I love the gateway movies for children to watch with their families, and it shows them a side of movie making that is just magical. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I did not think John Krasinski was gonna cast Ryan Reynolds in a movie about imaginations and imaginary friends. It has Steve Carell as a big fat grimace. Like, I'm there. I'm actually there, and I didn't think I was going to. I'm just deeply excited and intrigued about that film. It looks so vibrant, so wholesome. I actually cannot wait. Now these are going to be like the biggest films of the year. You know what? I need to come off the gate and say Dev Patel making his directorial debut seeped into culture in a John Wick-esque way as he stars in this film, and it looks like a badass. He's one of the hottest actors alive, but he just looks unbelievable in this movie. Monkey Man. I did not know this man had that dog in him, but this dude has like the biggest beast in him. I cannot wait for this movie. The trailer might be my favorite of the year, but also, holy hell, it looks like a blast. And these last three I saved because I don't think we are prepared. We can try to ready ourselves, but I really do not think we are prepared for Robert Eggers' newest film, Nosferatu, a film he has gone on record saying he has been wanting to make for years. He's finally gotten the budget. I hear it mixes with different aspect ratios, different filmmaking techniques and color. The cast, Willem Dafoe, Nicholas Hoult, Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Lily Rose Depp. I love Robert Eggers. This man has nothing more to prove, but he might just have made his greatest effort yet. And of course, what 2024 movies in a year video would you make without having talked about Dune Part 2? That movie I am seeing, actually, I think this weekend. Oh my god, time is a flat circle, man. And I'm actually so scared because I am going to see that in IMAX in like the third row, and I have heard that this movie is bleak. It is one of the most dark and grim blockbusters that does not leave you cheering or pumping your fists, and I actually cannot freaking wait. I was excited before, and then I rewatched Dune in IMAX. My anticipation skyrocketed, but there is something about this that, like, I've seen the trailer a dozen times, but it feels like that is barely scratching the surface, and we live in a time where a visionary like Denis Villeneuve exists, and I am not going to take that man for granted. And if I'm being honest, the film that I cannot brace myself enough for, the film that I'm so glad this filmmaker exists, I'm so grateful that we're in a time where his first film made a franchise, then comes back to do a film that is arguably the most impactful film of the 21st century, and this film might even be better than that. Furiosa. Holy shit. I'm so sorry, forgive my French, but I just think this movie is going to shatter expectations, to skyrocket. That trailer is adrenaline to the veins, and I think we are underestimating the value of auteur filmmakers, of just visionary filmmaking, and it's going to be a really, really good year. And I know I probably missed a bunch of movies. This is early, and I think like later down the line, more movies get introduced. But as of right now, as of recording that, these are the movies that I am most excited for. But of course, the most important part about making this video or any video is to hear what you have to say. What are some of your most anticipated movies? Why? What are the ones that you didn't expect to want to see? But here we are. Please comment down below. And as always, expect so many more videos coming down the pipeline very soon. I love you all. Thank you so much for sticking to the end of this video. As always, of course, most especially, remember to take life one frame at a time. Have a good night.